Hello, my friends. I am sorry I can't be here with you live today. I am going to a family wedding this afternoon and I am not dressed yet, so this is why you are seeing just my card in my hand today. So the first thing I want to do is say welcome. My name is Jenn Tinline. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator for about 20 years and I go live every Friday and share a project with you. So this is a project I made last week, and what I'd like to do is do a draw for the project that I made last week. Super cute little birdie card, and it's following a layout in the catalog. So I'll put a link in the comments to this live so you know. Here's an alternate one that I made after I was finished the live. So I made it with blue and I added the cute little glasses from that stamp set. So super cute and cute in blue. I also showed during the live an alternate layout using some of the new designer series papers. These are the foil papers. So this is just the same layout but turned sideways. Okay, so I am going to do a draw for this card and then I'm going to get started making a card for today. And all you have to do to get in on the draw for the card I'm going to make today is to comment, like, or share the video and you'll be automatically entered into the draw. So let's see here. I've got my thing all set up and I'm going to hit start. So as long as you're Canadian and not a demonstrator, you can win. Nancy Goldie. Nancy, I think you won recently too. So you're on a lucky streak here, Nancy. So Nancy, I'll get that mailed out to you. You are Canadian and not a demonstrator, so I will get that out to you. So let me stop the share here and go back to the studio. And here we go. Okay, so let me put that aside. Let me show what I'm working with today. It's super weird not to have you guys to talk to, by the way. I prefer to always do a live if I can, but because I couldn't, I thought I'd at least do this. So I'm working with a couple things. One is this Heartfelt Hexagon. It's not something you're going to find. You can find it by searching online, but it is not in the catalogs. It's a special release for the World Card Making Day event, and I meant to pull those papers for you. In fact, they're sitting on the printer, so I won't go grab those yet, but I will make sure to put a link in about that information for you. Basically, I have a little special going on for that too, so I'll put a link and you'll see all the information. But this is super cute. It's got a Mr. and Mrs. I hope your day is filled with joy. Sending you lots of love and hugs. Let's eat cake with sincere sympathy and just a for you. Now I like the fact that there's a sympathy in this one that's other wedding or birthday, because this is sometimes a hard greeting to find in other stamp sets, so it's kind of nice that it's in there. And then you see these two frames and they match this punch. So this punch is called a hexagon punch, and you can get these two things as a bundle, and that's what they are there. And so the reason I'm using that with some wedding sentiments is because I'm going to a wedding today, so I thought, why not make you guys the card that I'm actually taking with me? So this one is called Here's to Love. It's in the annual catalog. It's got this nice bride and groom and some nice sayings that would work for weddings. You saw me make previously this Barbie shaker card using the wedding stamp set, and also you didn't see me make this, but I did show this, a Ken as well, using that same stamp set. So today I'm actually going to use it as a bride and groom. So let me just pull all this aside here. The other thing I want to show you is some silver foil paper that I'm going to use. Only available online. It comes with 3 different kinds. So there's just a traditional silver foil, a darker foil, and I don't know if I have the other one. Oh yes, I do, sort of a matte foil, all silver, and that's only available online. And also going to use some vellum paper. Now this is in the annual catalog here on page, well, you would think it would be on this page here. This is where all the specialty papers are, 127, but it's actually a few pages forward here at the end of the designer series paper. It's called Vellum Basics Specialty Paper. There's 6 sheets, 2 of each of 3 designs, which I'll show you in a second, and it's $13.75. So these are the papers. I'm going to use one of them here today. Let's pull this out here so you can see. So there's a stripe. Now this might be hard to see. Let me just place it on something. See, there's a stripe. So it's vellum, so it's see-through. So that's very pretty, layered on top of something. There's a polka dot, also very pretty. And then there's this lovely leaf pattern. Very pretty. So I'm going to use the leaf pattern today only because the bride had some leaf imagery in her wedding invitation. So let me just move all that aside. And I'm going to start here by using a piece of basic white, but this is a piece of thick basic white cardstock. So it's a little bit thicker, a little bit more sturdy than the regular basic white. I like it when I know that I'm sending a special card, or when I know that I have a lot of layers on the front of the card, and I know that it's going to be heavy. So I want to make sure it's going to stand up properly. So I've just scored it with a bone folder. So it's got a nice crisp crease there. It's going to stand up nicely. There's my piece of vellum that I'm going to use. And I am looking for my piece of gray. So one advantage of pre-recording is that you can pause the video. So I had cut that, but it's missing somewhere on my desk. So I also went and grabbed stuff off the printer. So this is a World Card Making Day, which is on October 7th. I know that is Thanksgiving weekend, but it's always on the same day worldwide. And Stampin' Up! Is holding an event. I'm sorry, I'm digressing back to what I said before. And basically it's free. And I'll put how to register and all that stuff. It'll be on my website. And then if there's 3 different bundles that they're going to make cards with, one of them is the one that I'm using here today. And if you purchase one of these bundles, then I'm going to send you the supplies, as long as you're in Canada, and you're purchasing the bundle from me, then I'm going to send you supplies for all of those 3 cards so you can make them. Anyways, I'll have more of that on my website. So back to the card. This is a piece of smoky slate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use smoky slate ink on the smoky slate paper, and I'm going to stamp the bride and the groom. Now, does anyone know, when you're in a church, is it the bride on the one side and the groom on the other side? Is there a specific side for each of them? I'm not sure. I think there is, but I'm stamping it this way. Oops, and that was out of frame. I'm sorry. I just stamped the bride. Very pretty. On the left, because I have some stuff that's going to go on the right, and I don't want it to interfere with the pretty bride image. Whereas I don't care about the groom image. No, I'm just kidding. There's more space here in the groom image, and I don't want to obstruct the lovely image there of the bride. So very pretty, just subtle in the background, the bride and groom. That is smoky slate on smoky slate. Okay, so I'll just move this over. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is do some embossing. So I've got a piece of, she said hopefully, well, I'm going to be using this pretty piece because obviously all my scrap pieces, I've put them somewhere. I'm going to do 2 pieces of embossing. I'm going to do something for the front, and I'm going to do the inside. So before I emboss, I'm going to take my embossing buddy, which you can get as part of the embossing editions, a little package that comes with a tray and a brush and this, and it's just great for embossing. This takes the static out of your paper, and then any sort of stray strands of embossing powder are eliminated, or mostly eliminated. So I'm going to do both of them at the same time here. I'm going to stamp. I don't have my words today. Congratulations on the inside. So this is, I'm using Versamark ink, so it's like going to be invisible looking, especially on the camera, until, and this one says, I hope your day is filled with joy. Love that. I've been telling my niece all week, I hope that you have a good time at your wedding, and that you stop and enjoy it, because it is a hard thing sometimes when you're getting married to actually stop and enjoy after all the hard work. So I'm sprinkling silver embossing powder on here. It comes in the basic pack with all the metallics, and I'm just going to give it a knock, and you can see it's pretty good. There's a little bit of stray extra powder, so I'm going to knock it again with my finger. If I need to, I can use a brush to brush that away. And the same with this one. I'm going to give it a good little, whoop. I knocked it so hard I knocked most of the powder off there. See that? So I'm going to put it on here again. And I'll be a little more gentle this time. I think I just didn't emboss it very well because it's not sticking. So let me grab another piece of white. And I always have lots of white handy. Big piece here. And it doesn't matter that this, I haven't embossed this. As long as the powder is on there, you are good to go. Okay, so let me try this again because I didn't obviously ink it very well. So let me try that. So I'm just going to ink this up again with the Versamark. Oh, almost forgot. Embossing Buddy. I'm going to sit and seep. With the photopolymer stamps, you really got to let them take a minute to transfer onto your paper. I'm going to sprinkle more powder. Don't worry, this powder is not getting wasted. It's getting captured in this tray so that I can use it again later. Oh yes, that's much better. See that? Just a little bit of extra here on the side. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside. What you would do after is you would unscrew this and funnel that powder back in here. I'm not going to right now because I'm usually a bit of a spaz and I might end up sprinkling that powder all over, and then that's going to make a bit of a mess for my workspace. And I don't want to do that. So I'm actually just going to take my little dusting glove and anything that I've managed to spill, get rid of it. Okay, so I'm going to take my heat tool. This is Stampin' Up! Heat tool. There are two settings. One is for if you're embossing on something like vellum, and the other one is a hotter setting, which is what I'm going to use. I'm going to turn it on. It's going to take a few minutes to warm up, and then I will start embossing. You want this to go from that, I'm going to hold this up, that grainy look to more of a shiny look, and you'll be able to see the silver, whereas right now it kind of looks like a dull gray. So here we go. Here we go. Notice that I just used a steady motion and to go over the whole thing, and when it changes to that silver, you really can see it, especially if you're positioning yourself in the light. It is just gorgeous. And look at the inside, very pretty with the raised, and so it's actually raised. You can touch it about 10 seconds after it's done, and so it looks very professional too. Okay, so I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to take my hexagon punch, and I'm going to punch it out. So you can, so I don't know if you saw that, I did that quickly. The punch is like this, and you can pull the button down to unlock it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slide the paper in that slot right there. Oh, there's my wedding nails for today. I don't know if you can see those. Ta-da! My dress is that dark purple color, and then I got some bling on there. Okay, here we go. I digress again. Squirrel, as we say. So I'm going to slide that in there through the top, get it positioned, centered the way I want it. Then I'm going to push this button down about halfway, sort of lock it in, and then a push. And avoid touching that button there because it will then lock the punch while I'm in the middle of it, which I don't want to do. I've also punched out a little piece of the silver that I mentioned. So the first little trick I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a pair of scissors. These are scissors I reserved just for paper. I have another one for ribbon, which you'll see in a second, and cut that in half. I want a mat for this, and there isn't a mat. So I'm making my own. So I'm just going to, oops, extra bits and pieces here. Put a bunch of tape on here, and I'm going to add this to the bottom and to the top. That doesn't look centered. Let me do that again. It's hard sometimes to see what you're doing because I'm trying to show you for the camera, but then it means it's not right under my nose. So there we go. So let me hold that up so you can see it. So now we've got this nice little silver border all around our greeting. So I'm going to put that aside. Okay, so let's put this card together. So I'm going to put this piece on the vellum. Now you can see that I've cut the vellum at, well, you can see, I'm showing you. I've cut the vellum at 5 1/4 by 4, so it's going to mat nicely onto here. And then I've cut this a good 1/2 inch smaller, so there's a nice border of vellum all around. Now, it really bothers me to have that vellum and use the whole thing and not cut anything out of it. So I'm going to punch a couple things out of here before we say goodbye to that. Now that may not be a good idea actually, because I want to make sure I've got my wide border. I'm going to use this punch because it'll go in far enough, I hope. let's just check that out. Oh, I'm lucky. Here we go. So I'm gonna see if I can get another punch out. No, I think I'm just gonna get the one. So you could take a bigger die and cut something out of there, just so you don't completely waste all that paper, because it just really hurts to do that. Okay, so because the vellum, of course, is more expensive paper, but this is a special card, and I don't make these all the time. So I'm going to not do that. I'm going to grab my ribbon first, and I'm going to make the ribbon go about this far down. Really what I'm trying to do, this is going to go here, is make it so that that spot where there's a gap will be right where the ribbon is. It's going to look like I did it on purpose. So I got enough tape on there that I can put that down and grab my ribbon scissors, which have a little dangly thing on them. Cut that. We'll try this again. See, I make mistakes even when I'm by myself. Okay, there we go. I always say there's no mistakes in stamping, just opportunities to fix things. Okay, now you're not going to see all the adhesive because I just want to make sure I've got this going the right way. I do not. That's the correct way. There's like a printed side on it. And you're going, you're covering up that beautiful vellum. I know, I know. I just wanted a touch of it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use dimensionals on here because I want to be able to see a little bit of that vellum around the edges of the card. And by popping this layer up, it means that you'll be able to see it just a little bit better. It's very faint, just a nice little element, but it will make it look very wedding-ish. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Take a Pick tool. Here it is. Turn this over. And I'm going to do this little trick one of my team members taught me, and that is to get all these backings off fast. Just pick them off. I thought that was pretty clever. Okay. Oh, missed one. Okay, so now I'm going to add this to the front of the card. Make sure I've got the card going the right way. Ta-da. So I will be doing a draw for this card, so remember to comment, like, and share. So you'll have a wedding card in your ready. So now you can see it's going to be a little hard in the camera, but there's that printed vellum just on the edge. It's popped up a little bit, so it really kind of stands out as a special layer. Okay, so we're not done yet. A couple more things to do. So I'm going to add this with dimensionals as well. So I'll pop a bunch on here. There's no point in me putting them right in that crack there because those dimensionals will be lower than the other ones, so kind of put them on either side. There we go. Away you go. So this is going to go down here like this. I'm going to put it over just a little bit to the side. Like I said, this is why I wanted the guy on that side because he's getting blocked off a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to make a pretty bow. We've got three more things to do to this card to make it up to a wedding standard kind of card. And really, this card is quite simple. You can see there's no die cuts on it. It's punches and just some embossing, which is what makes something like a wedding or a Christmas card amazing. By the way, this ribbon I'm using is from the Holiday Mini Catalog. It's like a sheer ribbon with a silver edge, and the silver is so sparkly. It's so pretty. And so I'm going to give this a little trim here and here, and I'm going to use my glue dots here. I'm going to grab a couple of glue dots. I'm going to do two because I really don't want this to fall off, and I'm going to stick it right up here. Okay. And I'm going to give this ribbon another little trim, always on an angle, looks better, frays less. I'm going to kind of tuck it down here. So already this is gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous. Okay, so here's the next little thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take this fun punch that you saw me bring in for a second, and the name of it has completely escaped me, but it's in the main annual catalog. And I'm going to punch out a couple little flowers from there, and I'm going to take my something that isn't here. Oh, here it is. a piercing mat. It's just a foam mat of any kind, and I'm going to put my 3 flowers on here. And I'm going to take my Take a Pick tool. I'm going to put this up a little bit so you can see it. And I'm going to switch out the end. There's a bunch of ends, so this one's got 2 stylus ends on it. So I'm just going to unscrew this one and stick in the large stylus. And then I'm just going to take this and I'm going to rub it on here to try and get a little bit of an indentation and a bit of a curve to that flower. So you'll see it more with this smaller flower. See how it's kind of starting to pop up a little bit? Let me just hold it on an angle, and this one you'll really see it kind of pop up. Okay, so I've got a little bit of dimension to that flower. So I'm going to take my big dimensionals, which I just put away. So I've got another sheet, and my tiny dimensionals, which I never put away. Let's see here. Here they are. I also just paused the video for a second. I grabbed the catalog. It's the Petal Park Builder Punch. That's what I'm using right now in the annual catalog. Okay, so I'm going to turn this one over and put a dimensional in the square in the center, and the little one here, and put one there. And then I'm going to build this little flower. So I'm going to just turn this a little bit. And then turn this one a little bit. I'll hold it up in a second so you can see. It's very pretty. I'm just making the petals sort of offset. So check out that beautiful little flower. Okay, wait till you see it on the card. So pretty. Okay, so I'm going to continue with my glue dots here. I'm going to grab a couple on here. And of course, you guys know that even when I put this flower on here, I'm not done, because we always have to add some bling here. Plus that's a naked flower, we need to fix that. Okay, so the bling I chose for this, let me just get some of this out of the way. And I'm going to just undo this piece because I use this piece more. I like the spatula end sometimes. Okay, get rid of my scissors. Is rhinestones, regular rhinestones, because that's going to match that edging on that silver ribbon really well. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a big rhinestone and stick it up here. It's stuck there. Sometimes that's why I like the spatula. Let's see, right there. I'm going to get a medium rhinestone, and I'm going to put that, I think, in the center of the flower. Or maybe it needs a big one. Let's do a medium one here. I think this needs a big one too. So pretty. I'll hold this up in a second, and then I'm going to do one more down here. So I've got my 1, 2, 3, and then of course that one doesn't count. It's part of its own little set of things. Now, this ribbon, it needs a little bit of training to come down a little bit so we don't obscure the saying, although you can just move it if you want to. So here we go. Beautiful, shiny wedding card. We've got a lovely 3D kind of flower happening on there. The shiny tag there, and then the bride and groom is subtle in the background, a little bit of vellum, and then in the inside we have our beautiful congratulations. So remember to comment, like, or share, and then you can get in on the draw for that. Let me just show you my original one. See, the ribbon's just flowing a little bit better on this one. I just had it moved aside for a while, so that's what I'll do with this one to make it. Oh, and I forgot to show you. I also made a matching envelope, so that's with this stamp set here, the Heartfelt Hexagons. So there's a nice Mr. and Mrs. in there, and then a saying, and then this cute little flower, which would be great for the sympathy card too. And then I even took that flower and this one here, and just stamped at various heights. So now you're going to have that beautiful wedding card to send. Okay, so that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for checking this out, even though it is a recording. And I will be back next week live for you. Please let me know what you think, and have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.